Welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are going to have a look at Deepin today. 15.8 is the new version, and yeah, RMRF. I think Deepin has just completely fell off of my radar of potentially good distros. Good thing I never fully supported and endorsed it. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about why today as we dive on in. But before we do that, how is everybody else doing? We had a little lengthy discussion going on. Farron OS was on here earlier. Unfortunately, had to jump off and go to ZE land. Jackie Chan, greetings. How long till we establish the Starship Federation? They've tried a few times, but us, the aliens in the the reptilian alien race, have actually been blocking it at every turn. So we made sure that the aliens will not actually come, that the Starship Federation will not actually occur. We don't want them to. Really, there's this giant association. It's kind of like Star Wars out there in the world. And the fact of the matter is we just don't want humans. They just destroy everything that they go near. So we keep blocking them. But anyway, let's see. Apparently, Cinnamon 4.0 is in Tessa repos, which will be in the next Linux Mint distro, 19.1. Hello, Louie. Louie's on. What's up, peeps? Hi, peeps. Hi, peeps. Hi, peeps. Hi, peeps. Hi, peeps. Hi, Louie. All right. Okay. What's up, 0311? You should change that to 007. Then we can call you Bond. James Bond. Ghost Mirror, how's it going there? Just standard. It was just a standard. Let's see. Just downloaded and booted from the live. I just really like the theme you have said. Okay, he's talking to Farron OS. Somebody asked, what is Farron OS? It is a distribution based on Linux Mint Cinnamon. I think he moved the desktop environment though to something else. Does anybody know for sure exactly what Farron OS is running now? I thought he changed the desktop environment, or was going to. Faustino, how's it going there in HD? Let's see. Dank Memer, how's it going there, Dank? Hello, Quint. Quint showed up, and then Quint, took off. Let's see. Hello, AJC. Yeah, greetings. How's it going there? Hello, Chip. Chip, we got to get together for some coffee so I can get you that mouse pad. Nobody's claimed it yet, so you get the mouse pad. Okay, too late now in the day. All right. Oh, he is still here. Apparently, Farron is still here. Mark Yates is here. Very good. Hello, Mark. Greetings. The kitty is sound asleep. Yes, the kitty is sleeping for you, Farron. The kitty is sleeping. And Farron OS, let Google do the explaining. Let Google? No! Let Start Page explain it. Enjoy the EULA. Oh, yes, we will enjoy the EULA. Oh, yeah. I'm doing well. How are you? Never tried Deepin before. I liked Deepin 15.7. I think 15.5 they put a tracking script in it. 15.6 or 15.7 they took it out. 15.8 showed up, and then no, lordy. Now I did end up getting I downloaded just the basic installation media rather than the live one. I didn't realize that, and then I jump up and look at the downloads and, oh, there is a live one. I thought that they had gotten rid of the ability to test live. So I have installed this, but we are going to show you the introduction to the installation process. Curious, tell me how heavy this is if you would run well on my ThinkPad, but it's kind of mid-range to high-end. No, I'm not recommending Deepin at this point. Nope, they are done. They are done. Endiger, how's it going there? And the technician is sick. Get better, man. Get better. Have yourself some tea. Oh, Quint's back. Greetings, Quint. How's it going there? I don't know how or what just happened, but all of a sudden my Linux Mint Debian editions, it does actually time out the screen now. I'm impressed. For 2 weeks, it hasn't been doing that. All of a sudden today, now when I leave the computer alone for 5 minutes, it times out the screen. Exactly the functionality I've wanted it to do. Haven't been able to get there. I don't know. But it's just on GNOME. Interesting. All right. Doing good and optimistic. Mom just is super depressed. We're going to have... Phil, sorry for you all, by the way, when he sees the EULA. Either way, realize it. I'm going to try not to scream and yell. I'm going to try not to scream and yell so much. Let's see. Doing good. More important question, how's the kitty? The kitty is enjoying life. Kitty, you enjoying life? He's like, yeah, I'm enjoying life, but let me sleep, yo. Yeah? All right. The kitty is doing great. All right, let's go ahead and dive on into this bad boy. All right, so here we are here today to talk about Deepin 15.8, and as my title says, RMRF. Now, for some background, Deepin is one of the distros that I did run on my system for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. I ran it on my media PC, which is my distro testing ground. So for those jumping back and forth between channels, not quite as familiar with how I run things, I have several different computers. My main production computers do not jump. I am not a distro hopper where it comes to production. Two of my main production computers run Linux Mint Cinnamon. I have another production computer running Peppermint. The Peppermint one is on a very low-spec Lenovo computer, and it runs absolutely gorgeous. Love that computer. But I have this other computer which I refer to as my media PC. It's basically the all-purpose PC for my office. I'll occasionally do some video editing. I'll occasionally write letters over there. I check various email accounts. I watch videos. I watch YouTube videos. I watch movies, play DVDs. So I get a chance to test a wide spectrum of things on that computer. And what I do is I change the operating system or desktop environment or do something interesting with the system every few weeks to get some good flow of videos and get some wide range of experience. So it was a couple of weeks back, maybe a month or so back, when I was running Deepin 15.7, and I ran that and I was actually very much impressed with it. The desktop environment was very nice, and then I had a lot of questions. How does this compare with Deepin desktop environment running on Manjaro? And so I went from Deepin OS to Manjaro Deepin, and then I did a comparative video on that process. And so you can have a look at those videos to see what my initial take was back then. But of course, as Linux distros roll, sometimes we get things. Of course, there was some controversy back in 15.5. QuidSub, who does a lot better security stuff than I do, identified that there is a malicious script. Of course, QuidSub also has a software that helps you identify these things and block them on your network. I believe his system is called NoTrack. Which you can run on a Raspberry Pi, connect it to your home router, and use that as a DNS filter, which will filter out ads, junk, or whatever else you need it to filter. So you can have a look at QuidSub's video there talking about how he identified a tracking script that was in Deepin 15.5. This caused a little bit of controversy, which on top of the already kind of prejudicial controversy that, oh, it's a Chinese operating system. So does this mean that they're going to do crazy spy stuff? And that has been a legitimate concern. One person commented on my on the video on Deepin and said, I am a Chinese software developer and I would not trust anything that comes out of China. Well, that was an interesting comment. Assuming that he was at his word and truly is a Chinese software developer, that is a very telling statement. All right. And so 15.5, I was a little controversial about it. It was either 15.6 or 15.7 due to some controversy. Apparently, they took out that script. Now, all that was basically like a Google Analytics script, only instead of being Google Analytics, it was a Chinese analytics firm, and it was embedded in the Deepin store. So you loaded up the store, which behaved like a website, and it pinged home, and that analytics company could tell anything that you did on the store, whether it's upgrading software or downloading packages or whatever else. Still a security privacy concern. So that seemed to come out as QuidSub demonstrated in the next release, which was either 15.6 or 15.7. So I ran 15.7 going, QuidSub says this is no longer in there, so let's go ahead and give it a try. And I actually gave it some 2 thumbs up. I thought it was a great distribution. I thought it was an interesting desktop environment. There were, of course, some little flaws with it, but such is life. So let's go ahead and have a look at their release notes. So Deepin 15.8, supposedly attractive and efficient, excellent user experience, so they say. All right, so there's some new features, and I will try and remember these features and look for them when we actually look at the distro. So dock, fashion, or efficient, choose as you like. I'm not, I mean, fashion or efficient, choose what you like. I mean, the fashion looks like Mac. I don't think that's really fashionable, but they should have said, like, hey, like Windows or like Mac, but maybe copyright stuff. It's China. What do they care? So that's always been a feature. I'm not sure. Maybe that's just going to be something easier to access, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I'm guessing that is like Windows automatically shows the desktop now, which is cool feature. I love that in a distro. In fact, I put that on my Linux Mint Cinnamon and on all of my systems that that I run where I can. Control Center has a new page layout. They say brief but not simple. Not sure. This was one of the concerns. Of course, Solace put it on their own homebrew desktop environment, Budgie. They put all the settings on the side, and it's like, that was really cool and novel at first. However, it gets really annoying after a while. It really does get annoying after a while. And I understand why Solace pulled that out of the Raven menu and put it on its own separate window. So apparently they are maybe doing something like that. We'll have a look at what that looks like. They have a new grub menu. That's one of the things that Deepin's really good at. And one of the things that I said Deepin OS was better than Manjaro Deepin if you wanted to run the desktop environment is because from the initial boot up to the final shutdown, it is a polished system. Manjaro, we got the standard Linuxy code all over the place. We didn't get any customized grub loaders, anything like that. So if you're talking about from pushing the power button to shutting the system down, Deepin is absolutely gorgeous. Any Linux distro that wants to become a mainstreamy type distro needs to do that because it cuts down on the little concerns. Oh, it's booting up all these Linux lines. I don't know what's going on. Most distros just hide that behind a splash screen. Better that way. We have a dark theme, unified style interface. Cool and gorgeous. Okay. So I guess you have a brighter and darker icon themes. Okay, so they went from a little bit brighter to a little bit darker. Okay, so that's all right. So the Deepin installer now has a full disk encryption. I did not see this option when I installed it. I did not recall it. Maybe I missed it. If it's just some little thing, we'll look for it. I'm going to run the first part of the installation. I'm not going to go ahead and install the whole thing. I installed it on the VirtualBox just to make sure it would install right and to reduce the time in installation. File manager is improved. Of course, I had an issue with this where my media PC where I ran this on real hardware also has a Windows drive and it also has a Linux Mint drive in it. And every time you open the file manager, I got a very scary looking screen. I highlight that in a couple of my Deepin review videos. So I'm curious if that's still there, but we won't be able to see that because I'm not running this on that hardware. And then there's a few other items down here as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and boot up a virtual machine, and we are going to boot up the virtual machine first with the live key so that we can get a chance to see that. So let me go ahead and all right, so here we are booting up, and there was the initial start screen, so we should be booting into the installer. Now again, there is you can get a download that is going to be the live version, so you can experiment with it and then choose to install it. This is the one that is merely the installer. And so we're going to have a look at what the installer looks like. All right, so first when you load it up, we launch right into the installer. We have to start by selecting our language. So let's go into English. Oh joy, we have a EULA. And yes, I am a nerd. I did read this EULA. I'm going to just highlight a few points in it. So, of course, this was updated. So, of course, this is not something new. This is just something you have to choose to accept to continue. Before, it's like, yeah, we have it. It's somewhere on the website, but you never had to click anything here. And so there, I honestly didn't see if this existed. Not all instances, there's a lot of distros that may have EULAs. There's software packages that don't have EULAs, and I read them when I find them. I will note that there is, I didn't see this before, there is a little X up here in the corner. I'm guessing that cancels the installation. I'm not sure what happens when that occurs. Who knows? Maybe it does indeed drop into a live key. So let's go ahead and flip through the EULA because there's some interesting things. In fact, there's some very interesting things, and hopefully I can find all of the things I want to talk about since it's hard to break up into sections. So unless it's being replaced by a new version, the EULA applies to any version of Deepin software and its related updates and usage of the source code, regardless in any way of how the software is delivered. Even if you have read and accepted all terms in this EULA, you still need to be authorized to have the right to install, copy, and use the software by any other means through one of the message. Obtain license through Deepin Technology directly. Obtain the license from Deepin Technology through an authorized distributors. Obtain the license from authorized third party, which is eligible to distribute the license. All right. So, of course, if you get the Deepin community version from the official releases of Deepin, you are deemed to have obtained the license by the first way described above. So, downloading it, we have indeed a license for using Deepin. But there's some things you must comply with. All right. The software is only licensed to people who comply with the terms in the EULA. Okay, all that's fairly standard. And of course, let's see, Deepin Technology grants you perpetual worldwide non-exclusive license to the software. It's multiple components pertinent to the EULA and the GPL, I can't talk today, version 3. Each software component is guided by its own individual license, which we can read about. There's nothing too out of the ordinary here. Of course, intellectual property rights. The software and all its components are owned by Deepin and or other licensors and are protected under copyright law. You shall not remove any copyright mark from the license. All this is fairly standard stuff. Okay, of course, you shall not copy the printing material. You agree to prevent pirates, any pirates of the software and printing documents. You shall not remove or destroy any copyright mark in the software. Okay, so of course it can be redistributed according to the license. There's the instructions there. So I want to get down to the parts that's a little intriguing. Okay. Number 1, specifications. Use of the software is subject to the laws and the EULA you are entitled to perform, including but not limited to the final. So, of course, you can't publish, deliver, transmit, or store any content that contravenes national law. Now, the question is, whose law? This is a Chinese software, which U.S. and, there's like zero jurisdiction that Chinese Republic would have on me here, but embedded in this EULA says that we are bound to the laws of the Chinese Republic. I will point that out when I find it. Okay, so you can't publish, deliver anything that infringes intellectual property rights of others or trade secrets, so don't use our desktop operating system if you want to steal data. You can't use this system to advertise bulk or scam or spams. You can't transmit pictures, images, software, other materials that infringe on third parties unless you've obtained necessary. You can't do anything that would compromise network security, which basically might mean you can't do pen testing, is some definitions. So that's kind of it. Okay, and actually there's one more. To use the software, other services other than services provided by the software and Deepin Technology in any illegal way for any purpose or in any way inconsistent with the EULA. So, okay. All right. So Deepin Technology warrants that media which the software and components are furnished will be free from defects under normal use for 30 days from the date of delivery, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I want to find a couple of the interesting things in here, and if I can't find them specifically, then I will tell you about them. Okay, limited support, third-party programs, export restrictions. Okay, you agree not to export or re-export the software or any part of it or any program that is direct result of the software to any country or territory outside of China mainland. Well, that's an interesting thing to put in a EULA that you make available across the internet. So that certainly is an interesting thing. Also, it tells us, that's feedback, applicable law. The establishment, implementation, okay, this is where it gets freaky. The establishment, implementation, and interpretation and resolution of disputes with respect to the EULA shall be governed by the laws of the People's Republic of China, PRC. When any dispute arises between Deepin Technology and the user due to the content of the implement of the EULA, the two parties shall resolve it through friendly negotiation. If negotiation fails, the user hereby agrees the dispute shall be resolved in the court located in the jurisdiction where Deepin Technology resides. So they are the chief holders. They hold the ability to interpret it. So if you say, well, that's what this means legally, they go, well, no, not in our interpretation. I mean, postmodernism, folks. In their interpretation, then they could pretty much say whatever you want. And then, of course, you are subject to go to court in mainland China. So if I use this system in a way that is unflattering to them, I could find myself in trouble should I ever visit mainland China. So that's kind of exciting. So we have this entire EULA that we have to accept before we actually install the system. So we have this EULA, which the freakiest part about this, a lot of this is fairly standard, but that freakiest part is that it is interpreted and disputed by them under the jurisdiction of the PRC. So automatically, this is a system. So I'm going to decline the license at this point in time for all practical purposes. But what we are going to do is I'm going to walk you through what this looks like in case you can agree to this nonsense and put it in your system. I'm going to go ahead and cancel and abort, 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 abort. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off, and we're going to remove that from the disk. Since I already have installed the system, we're going to go ahead and boot it up. So this is what I'm talking about. Here is our grub menu, which looks very nice. Of course, this would be full screen if you installed it on real hardware. I, however, am installing this on a VirtualBox. We do have this part, and then, oh, we have a completely different loading screen. Do I have the right distro? Hopefully I booted the right distro, because Deepin is much more beautiful than that. We do have Deepin. All right. Yeah, so that's interesting. They used to have an absolutely gorgeous loading screen. They got rid of the absolutely gorgeous loading screen. All right, let's go ahead and log on in to Deepin. Okay, so we are in a virtual machine, so it asks us if we'd like to run this. This is not something you would have if you were installing it on real hardware. So the effect mode, I believe, is going to give us a lot better results. Common mode is going to have faster performance. We're going to go ahead and use, actually, we're just going to go ahead and use effect mode because this computer is built to be able to do this kind of stuff. There we are. There's our basic startup. And we should start ourselves out in the efficiency mode. Ooh, it's beautiful. It actually does look a little bit nicer. All right, so here we have a loading window, which walks us through a bunch of things. I'm going to skip through that. Here's fashion mode and efficient mode. Woohoo! Oh, so we can very easily toggle that there. We'll show you how to change that later. Disable window effect, enable window effect. Let's go ahead and... Okay, so what this is going to be is your translucency. So that is, if we were to pull up our menu on the side, is it would be, you can kind of see it in the menu down here. This is more your material design. Quint, this is for you. This one here is for those of us that like a little bit of translucency and transparency, the people like me that find that pretty and beautiful. I really love, by the way, this initial startup screen because you can pretty much set how you want to go. So here's your Deepin Archon theme. Here's the Deepin Dark theme. You may not notice a lot of difference, so the trash can is really the major difference there. This is going to mean darker folders. I actually was using this one when I ran it, which is like a little under the sea type thing. Here's Papyrus for those of you guys who like material design. All right, I'm going to go with the Deepin Dark. Okay, so now we can change these items in the control center. So let's see. I think this was, let's see. So there's that. So, okay, so that's the wired connection. All right, so I got to remember, so right-clicking on the menu between icons. So like right-clicking there, we'll click on the icon. But if you go in kind of in between things, right-click, you'll get this little menu here. So this sets your fashion mode or your efficiency mode. So fashion mode is effectively like a Mac. Efficiency mode if you're looking for something more like a PC look. Including when you load something up, then you should get our task list across the bottom. Maybe you don't get the task list across the bottom. I thought you did, but maybe you don't. I can't remember. Okay, so the other thing is we have under our launcher, we have a couple different ways of doing the menu. This again is kind of like the Mac, which you can sort in this manner here, or you can click this icon in the upper left and you can kind of go into this view where it organizes them. I wish GNOME had something like this. I think there probably is an extension to do this. In fact, I'm sure of it. But the other thing that you can do in the launcher is you have this mode in the upper right, and this is what gives you like your Windows type mode. So we have all of our categories, we have our favorites, and a lot of the other information here. So depending on how you want your setup, you have that. I do see now that they do actually have this minimize. Let's see if this functions like a Mac or functions like a Windows. No, not the settings right now. We'll get to the settings in a bit. All right, so there's that. You know, another thing I glossed over on the EULA. Part of the EULA is, and I totally forgot about it until just now, but you are agreeing to let them install any other third-party software on the system that they want. It's kind of exciting. All right, so we're going to come down here, click that button, and now I'll pull this up. So it does actually minimize all windows is what it does. All right, another thing that I really liked about Deepin that I said is it does have, in my opinion, one of the best software managers of all times. Now, of course, you come up here. If you're not in China, you can come over here and select region, China or international. So the international will kind of get us things that are not based on that. We have a variety of things. Of course, we have Google Chrome installed by default, which I'm not a fan of that. There's some other things in there as well I'm not a huge fan of either, but the Software Center is very nice. It's very functional. It's searchable. It is, I mean, this thing works really good. Click your uninstall. This gives you a list of everything that's installed in here. Like Deepin Cloud Print kind of scares me. This is a cloud service run by Deepin. So if this is enabled, it's possible you're sending your documents you're printing instead of going from right here, right through my office network into my printer. It's possible it's sending the documents I print on this machine to Deepin's cloud servers. So that's a little frightening. Things like that. So that is that. Of course, our settings, this is one of the things that they said changed, and indeed it does. It does actually look different. So now we click on this and we have this. I thought it showed us kind of a pop-out box. This really actually, once we get to this view here is new, but once you click in on one of these, this is essentially the same exact functionality it's always had. You can scroll down through these different things. Of course, one of the biggest negatives that I have talked about is that notifications are indeed messed up. Now, you can come in and turn off sound effects and you have no notifications. The problem is if you get something like Skype or something like an email application that has its own notifications built in, you will actually get your notification ping you twice. The only way around that is to take the master notification, which is in your opt share folder, and actually overwrite it. Quite literally overwrite it with a blank file. The file has to be there or you'll get an error, I think. But you can overwrite the file with a blank thing and that will get rid of the notification. So those are all workarounds. Yes, I'm aware you can turn off sound effects. You can turn off notification sounds, but that doesn't solve the problem that I want notification sounds. I just don't want notification sounds twice for every application that has its own notification. That's one of those things that I had mentioned as not being quite as good. So as far as that, let's go ahead and pull up that website again, see what else we are missing here. So let's go ahead and go with the website is Deepin OS. Of course, we got Google Chrome installed, defaulting to Google. Totally awesome, Rio. We're rocking Google, man. Let's see. This is the release notes. So let's see if there's anything else I was missing. Okay, so that's one of the things if you are in fashion mode. Let's go ahead and go back to fashion mode. So they kind of give us this view here, which has effectively your control panel on it. Now they have more icons on theirs. Presumably that's if you go into, I think, let's see, plugins, you can keep hidden, smart hide, size, location. There's a way to put other things on there. I forget exactly where that is at, but you have that ability. Let's go back to our efficiency mode because I find it definitely more efficient. We already talked about that. Very bottom right-hand corner, just like Windows. Throw your mouse down there, click the button, minimizes all windows. Absolutely one of the best features Windows ever put in. And I duplicate it across my distros. All right. So this is what I'm talking about, is they show us this, but I'm not getting these pop-outs. I'm not sure if... let me actually pull that up. I see a little setting thing at the top. Let's see if I can... Let me see if that's an option I can hit. See, I'm getting a lot of lag. Lot of lag right now. I'm getting my distro has crashed on me. My distro has crashed. Houston, our distro has crashed. Let's go ahead and kill it. Maybe it's VirtualBox has crashed. Maybe it's my computer has crashed. Wow, I'm actually having issues with my entire system right now. That's kind of exciting. I can't access anything. So that worked. All right. Hey, this is the menu there is working. This is exciting. You know, I got this once before on Deepin when I was doing some of my initial testing. It actually gave me that type of issue before. Let's go ahead and see if this restores functionality. Can I? All right. Hey, I'm back. I think what was happening is the VirtualBox was completely capturing my mouse. I couldn't get out of it. That was quite exciting. Let's go ahead and go back up to those settings again. So yeah, that's wowzers. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Loading, loading, loading. Oh, why is Deepin loading? Loading, loading, loading. Oh, why is loading? All right. Let's see. We're almost there. We're almost there. All right, we are back. Click back in on our settings. There is a settings option up there. Okay, I guess that's the thing that it used to be down kind of below everything. It used to be kind of in the middle, so that's what that is. So yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing kind of that pop out thing, but I am seeing. Let's see. Display. Oh, here's my transparency. I can set my degree of transparency. That's cool. Ooh, fancy. All right, here's our themes, window effects, microphone. Let's see. All right, well, that's about it. I'm not seeing anything else that's radically different. Mostly on this, the UI, or the EULA is the scariest thing. On the basis of the EULA and what you're kind of forced to agree with, I'm probably going to say, I'm not really going to recommend Deepin much anymore. So let me know what you think about Deepin OS with the addition of the EULA, at least the forced acceptance of the EULA. I don't remember that being there before. Let me know what you think about it. All right, let's see. Rain in California. My dancing is working. All right, very good. That's a GNOME setting. I know it's a GNOME setting, and I've set the GNOME setting to go to sleep, and it wasn't going to sleep for a long time. It would help if I jumped back into the comment feed, wasn't it? Haha, there you go. Hey, you guys can see the comments now. There you go. Thomas Holt, greetings. How am I? And CJ? CJ's doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Doing better. 11 days in hospital, 20 days in physical rehab. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Sorry, buddy. Very concerned about my mother, not how much more stress she can take. Well, just careful. Ruben Mendez just arrived now. So if I understand correctly, do you not advise to Deepin? Why not? Yes, I am. I will. I walked through the video why. So let's see. I'm done with the Linux Mint. They've burnt me far too many times. No longer run it or recommend it to anyone. Really? What's the issue, Mark? Running KDE Neon. Is Mint worth switching? It really depends. I have had zero issues with Mint. Most people have zero issues with Mint and keep going back to it. I'm not sure what Mark's specific issue is. One of the things, though, I recommend is stay on Linux Mint 18 for a while. The reason is Linux Mint 19 is based on the Ubuntu 18.04 LTS, and the Ubuntu 18.04 LDS is messed up, broken, screwed up, and doesn't work well. And so that translates down to nearly every distro that is based on Ubuntu. You know, Microsoft gets involved, and not that they're super involved in that, but there's some eyes looking at that. Let's see. So yeah, I think you got here just before I jumped into the video, so you probably saw that answered. All right, I was thinking of picking up a Raspberry Pi. Never gone to it really. I'm not a producer in the sense I'd probably use it for gaming emulating. Yeah, if you get a Raspberry Pi, download RetroPie. You will love it. Multi-thing. It is not supported for Arabic language. Oh, really? It seems like Mac OS docs are being much more popular these days, and I have no idea why. I haven't a clue. It's like everyone's trying to duplicate Mac. Oh my God, it's beautiful. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's horrendous to use. I mean, there's some of you that disagree with me, I know, but Deepin is amazing, especially their App Store. I found their App Store pretty amazing. I'm not sure about the rest. All right. Been running Deepin from last week. I've tried everything, Solus, Manjaro, Arch, Debian, Solus. Solus and Deepin work better than any other distro on my laptop. Yeah. It's really a role model for what other distros should strive to be like. Yep. Unfortunately, I have a lot of battery draining on Manjaro. Hello, Sleepy Eyes Vince. Greetings. Oh, you guys did a live stream this morning. All right. Reminds me of the Microsoft scary EULA. Except they didn't force you to agree that they were collecting all the data. So Microsoft's is still scarier. Deepin's is just nebulous. We can do whatever we really want. You have to consent to it. Microsoft just comes out and says, we're going to steal all your data, whether you like it or not. Tried this Deepin, had a few problems with OBS recording super low levels of desktop audio. Okay. Let's see. Is Deepin not Chinese? Yes. Yes, Deepin is Chinese. Fedora 28 on the laptop. All right, there you go. Deepin is easy to set up, install, and use as Mint. In general, yes. I think it is. I'm not sure it's as stable, but that's it. Say no. Mint is no longer worth it. No, I completely disagree. I have zero problems with Mint. That's why I run it on all my production computers. But again, if you're on Mint 19, I would expect you to have problems. That's why I've recommended people from the beginning, don't switch to 19. Because Ubuntu 18.04 that Mint 19 is based on is not a stable core. It's a horrible core. This is where Ubuntu forcing releases rather than releasing when they're ready, like Mint does, is a bad thing. But I'm not sure what Mark's issues are, so I don't know. Sounds dodgy. Yeah, Windows 10 looks good compared to Deepin EULA. One run Fedora, but it wouldn't even flash to the drive. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. Oh, Deepin, another Windows 10. Yep. Tried 4 different tools in Windows. Even Rufus failed. Yep. I'm starting to guess, Mark, you might have an issue on hardware. That seems to be what it's like. I don't know, though. I'm not sure what your setup looks like. Moral of the story is avoid Deepin. Still, then, I guess it's a dodgy EULA. Yeah. Hello, Ben. Greetings. Rufus owns USB thumb drives. Okay. Mint 19 installed fine once again, but stopped booting after a few hours. Huh. Mint developers need to get their stuff together because Mint 19 is a failure. And it's because it's based on Ubuntu 18. 18.04 is what the failure is. The unfortunate thing is that I don't think that the Mint team recognized how bad it was. Yeah, Deepin is not material designed by default. But you can set it. Okay. I have is that Arch is great for almost everything you do. There you go. Yeah, the EULA doesn't look like GPL. It just includes it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the licensing to know for sure. Find most software available, however, some VPNs and VMware VDI only make packages for mainstream, like Ubuntu and Debian flavors. I like Arch for keeping my system up to the latest versions of kernel and individual packages. Yep. Try KDE Neon. Yep. Install Neon on the machine. It's running much better. Yeah, if you got something that works, don't change it. You know, leave it to China to create an OS of the beauty of Mac OS and the EULA of Windows. Yep. UUIs failed a lot lately. DD, yeah, try DD. I'm wondering that my flash drive may finally given out. Yep, that could be it. Gonna do a full Windows format and try UUI again. Install a Chinese app. No. Sometimes I find I need to wait for UUI developers to update their apps when there's a new distro release. Yeah, I mean, really, a lot of the thing about Linux too is that if there's particularly mainstream software, guys, you can get the latest versions of a lot of your software. Like, you know, my work computer, which I still want on Linux Mint 18.3 because of its stability, I run, I have GIMP 2.10 on that. I have LibreOffice 6 on that. You can add those by adding the repos and then updating with the repos. I think GIMP I might have put on with a Flatpak, honestly. I can't remember. I know I did the repos on LibreOffice. Try DD or buy another flash drive. Yep. Reminds me too much of Mac OS. Yep. Yeah, if all of these different tools are working, I start to suspect the hardware. How do you keep an Ubuntu system at the latest available kernels and keep some package release new versions on GitHub but are not updated? Okay, wait. How do you keep a Ubuntu system at latest available kernels and some packages release new versions on GitHub but are not updated in Ubuntu Software Center? Okay. So let's look at that a little bit. So the first is Ubuntu does not have a kernel tool. I hit shutdown and it didn't shut the system down. All right, so Ubuntu does not have a kernel update tool by default. I think there is one you can download. I rarely update kernels, but you can update the kernel in the terminal. And again, since I don't update kernels, I have to find that again. Update Ubuntu kernel. Okay, so there's an article there. All right, so this one here, uname SR will tell you the available kernels. To upgrade the kernel, you want to go to kernel.ubuntu.com/kernel PPA mainline, choose a desired kernel. At the time they're writing this, that's 4.19. You can download the deb files, kind of walk through this, look for a few other ones as well. Linux Mint is super easy. You just come on down to here and you come up to your Linux kernels, and with the Linux kernels, yes, we're going to continue. You can just come up here. Of course, I can, there's some things I could do to add some. I use older kernels because I know they work. Newer kernels might give me more support, but if I know everything on the system already works, why bother changing? So that's your kernels. To do your packages, just because something is updated on GitHub does not mean it's in the packages. In fact, it's not generally going to update in Ubuntu until the next Ubuntu release. So you can wait until the next point release, or what you can do is you can add it, you can add the repo. So to add a repo to it, let's see. So for example, I think, like I said, I think LibreOffice, I did that. Let me look that one up. Okay, so what you want to do to get a repo is you can do this in a in the terminal is usually how I do it. So first of all, the distribution has to have a PPA. Now this is for an Ubuntu based system. So it's going to look like this. So you're going to, in your terminal, you'd add the repository, add repository, PPA, and then the Ubuntu. Or in this case, it's this would be to upgrade to the latest LibreOffice. So add that into your repo, and then you simply do an update and an upgrade. Whatever's on the repo will take precedence over whatever's in there. So for example, on this computer here, I always pull from the latest repo for OBS and for Kdenlive, because the OBS is old and the Kdenlive is really old on the Linux Mint 18 branch, which is what I prefer to run for stability. All right, and so what you can do is there is actually a software tool in Linux Mint called Software Sources that you can access. And what that's actually going to look like, go back to desktop view, that's going to look like this, and this will give you all your PPAs. So you can see I have the latest Kdenlive stable. This is what gives me the latest version of Kdenlive, despite my system is still running an Ubuntu 16.04 core, which is still supported for another several years. So I'm okay with that. I also have Simple Screen Recorder because that was not included in the Ubuntu 16.04 repos. I have OBS Studio because either that wasn't supported or at all, it wasn't in the repos at all, or it was an older version. So I'm running that one. Oh, I'm also running Audacity, and the reason I'm doing this is because I publish my books in audiobook format to get the plugin packages work that do all of the formatting correctly that Audible needs to push those books out. then there's actually a plugin package you can install, but it needs to have a newer version of Audacity than Linux Mint 18 has. And so I run the PPAs for those. So once you install the PPA, you just do a standard update and upgrade like you ordinarily would, and that's what gives you the ability to update newer software despite it's not in the repos yet. So hopefully that helps. Okay, instantly hate the UI. It's a communist distro. Kill it with fire. Don't like Deepin because the old package policy they keep. Yeah, I'm not sure how old they are at this point because it is running on Debian testing now, which is slightly newer packages, but I didn't check. Yeah, I was way too calm when reading the EULA. Some people don't like it when I scream like a raving lunatic, so I try and keep that down to like the fire sections on the news, you know. Deepin can rot in the grave for all I care. There you go. Tell me what you really think about that, Ben. I'm curious to know what you really think. All right. Distro killer. Yep. Stupid, unstable, crappy piece of bleep. Windows acting funky on my end now. Uh-oh. It's infecting you all through the screen sharing. Uh-oh. All right, Biden's been acting really strange. Yeah, China hacked my system. Not surprised. Okay, made it stop working. Yeah, I think China has also hacked the rest of us through YouTube. Yeah, probably. Google is trying very hard to deliver a sensitive search engine in China, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, yeah. 1.4 billion pairs of eyes to capture. I can't say I blame them. Wouldn't recommend Deepin, not to new users or any users at all. Refrain from those words there, dude. Okay. Great review once again. Awesome job. Wait, thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. Loving Linux Mint 19. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, and it might also depend on which, what your hardware is. That's always a change. This is the thing about Linux is if you have a good distro working, don't upgrade it. If it's working and there's no bugs, like, don't do a distribution upgrade. Keep your security updates fine. I do the same thing with my writing computer is still running Peppermint 7. I'm going to run Peppermint 7 until there's no more security updates. Because everything works. I am not going to risk breaking it when I'm constantly using the things for production. I'm just not going to do that. So once you get a system that works, keep it. I'm not a huge fan of distro hopping because distro hopping, you'll invariably get it onto a new distro and then it's something that's going to break, and then you just don't get it. So that's kind of the thing. You would not touch this distro with a 10-foot chopstick. All right, or with chopsticks. All right. Mint or Manjaro? I prefer Mint. I do like Manjaro, though, also. I think they're both good. Okay, playing all the old Windows games with Lutris and Mint. Very cool. New to Linux, Mint, if not Manjaro. Yep. I will suggest Deepin. I will not suggest Deepin. Hell no. Yet another Windows 10. Yep. Hello, Dan. Greetings. 1804-based distros work best on new desktop hardware. Correct. So if you do have a latest and greatest computer, Ubuntu 18 core-based distros might work for you. If you got something old, don't do it. Don't do it. Stay on 1604. Absolutely. World of Tech, greetings. Doesn't Manjaro Deepin remove most of these concerns, especially in the App Store and services? Yes. Deepin Manjaro would release those, yes. So if you want to run the desktop environment, that's the case. Every Mint release I used was not stable for you. Okay, well, that's okay. All right, in short, Wi-Fi keeps cutting out. No way you just hit connect. Existing Wi-Fi, even though it sees it, freezing back on terrible. Yeah. Have you tried an older version? Don't like EULAs. I find that it limits my freedom. I'm not a programmer, just want an OS for my own purposes. Yeah, and that's exactly why I do not recommend WPS Office, which WPS Office is the basic, default Office application on there. It has a huge EULA, which is scarier than Deepin's EULA, by the way. Yeah, across two things. Yeah, Mark, install Linux Mint 18. Install Linux Mint 18.3. I bet you will have no problems. See, like, this is the thing. Maybe I need to do a separate video on this, but software companies have so convinced us we have to push every update that there is that it breaks things. Guys, look at what happened with Windows 10. They're forcing updates, and then forcing the updates is breaking computers and deleting files. Stop updating unless you absolutely have to. I actually ran the updates on this computer, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, on accident. It was purely accidental. I meant to upgrade one package, missed a line, upgraded the whole system. Like, oh well. Hopefully nothing broke. But fortunately, it was like a Monday, so if it broke the system, I would have had time to fix it. But, you know. All right, let's see. From Ireland, land of beautiful women. No wonder. All right. Let's see. Hello, Frost Ranger. Greetings. Been on Ubuntu's Mate 1803 with no issues. Installing Mint Cindy. Trashing this Windows 8 install, provided if all goes well. Yeah, as long as you don't need like media is a little bit hairy on Cindy, but everything else works beautifully fine. I've had no issues with my Linux Mint Debian. Except just don't put KDE on top of it. KDE, Debian in general, it's not the Mint part, it's Debian in general, KDE and Kodi are not a winning combo. As long as you're not using Kodi, winning combo. But once you throw Kodi in the mix with Debian and KDE, you get weirdness. Discovered I can use VirtualBox to install a USB more safely so I don't have to disconnect my hard drive using USB pass-through on VirtualBox. Yes, that is another way you can do it. If you are installing on, if you are installing to either a USB or an external hard drive. What would you recommend for Android ROM? I use Lineage. Just don't update it from around February to May. Don't push updates during that period of time for their stupid April Fool's jokes that they need to stop doing. But I use Lineage. Not a gamer guy heavily and used EA games and other Windows specific games. I would dump it. Absolutely don't work in Linux at all. Yeah. Trust anything from or controlled by the Chinese Communist government. They give people a social credit score. Yes, they do, and that's frightening. Okay. It's just frustrating and a knee-jerk reaction. I keep blaming Mint and not thinking straight. It must be an Ubuntu 18 issue. Yeah, like I said, Mark. Download Linux Mint 18.3. 18.3. Way to go. Okay. Well, I can't get Cocteau or any bizarre BioWare games to work. Huh. Later, Quint. Dragon Age Inquisition won't work. Updated the kernel, quit booting, just doing Mint Cindy. Debian always works. There you go. Alright, tell them I use Ubuntu kernel update utility. Yes, that's it. There is a package called Ubuntu kernel update utility you can use. Yeah, kernel updates are like BIOS updates. If it isn't broken, no need to update. Correct. Okay, unfortunately, a toss and others say Linux isn't best for gaming. Yep. It's getting better. It's getting there. Just not there yet. You're late. Yes, you're late. Even native Linux games run worse on Windows than on Windows. So it's not just the wine overhead. Yeah. Love when you scream like a man on fire. Love it. Love the fire. Consider doing on fire for Apple related video. Just torch Apple. There you go. I'm enraged like you with tech news with Deepin. Scream at it. See you, Dan. I'm addiction. I'm a distro hopper. Please, I need help. Mercy on me. There you go. Oh, boy. Should I use 1804 or no? I'm on Gen 2. Hey, if you're on Gen 2, Don't ask me questions. You already got it figured out. Linux Mint 19 still have bugs, so went back to 18.3 plus 18.3. I can use the host file. Yeah, my host file does not work on Linux Mint 19 for some reason. I don't know why. There's something wrong with the 1804 core. It's weird. Works for me. Have Alienware 1080 Ti Core 7. Yeah, and I think because that's a newer processor, I think that it's going to work better for you. Anything old, though, newer Linux distros aren't working for some reason. I don't know what in the world happened, but... yeah, it's still deleting people's files. Yep, yep. Oh, but if you had your stuff on OneDrive, it wouldn't have. Not really a KDE guy. I want to leave Ubuntu for a while. There you go, yeah. Ubuntu running well on new computers? Yes and no. Mine is from 2015. Had no issues with Kubuntu 18.04. I have heard Kubuntu is the most stable of all the new Ubuntus. I don't think I've tried it, though. I'm not sure. All my Windows games are working just fine on Linux with no issues. Yeah. LG Stylo 4 can't get to root. LG won't unlock my bootloader, so I don't know how to root it and get Lineage on it. What should I do? Come here, you. Kitty wants to come up, I think. Where are you?
Hello, peoples. Hi, Anna Rita. Where's my digital girl?
There you go, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have something that you can't, if you can't unlock your bootloader and you want to get Lineage or some other ROM on it, you just got to get a new phone. That's the thing. If the bootloader won't unlock, not much you can do about it. Had to abandon Manjaro for work, but KX Studio helped a lot these months. Very good, all right. Sure, old games can work fine, depending on how old they are. Newer games, though,
It's a fuzzy snake. A fuzzy snake.
You just got 5 more kids for 2020 for my home daycare. Wife just told me we must buy tons of diapers next Black Friday. There you go. Mint always worked great in the past. Yeah. OneDrive doesn't always carry your data. Your soul, too. Yep. Doesn't only carry your data, but your soul, too. Yep. Like I have hardware that can eat games like Singularity up on and spit them out like nothing, but since it's DX9, games with more advanced graphics, it runs very poorly on Wine. MS starts working with Ubuntu, yeah. Crap about Mint, I obviously used Gentoo too long, yep. Alright, well, we are going to go ahead and feed the kitty. We'll do a final call for comments here. Let's go ahead and feed the kitty. Right, buddy? Yeah. We're going to feed the kitty. We're going to feed you, kitty. Yeah, you want to feed the kitty? Here, buddy. Uh-oh, you guys are going to get mooned, I think. Don't moon the people. Come here. Sit right there. Here, buddy. Right here. Whoa. I dropped one. Stick your face in there. Oh, yeah, got the paw stuff going. Get the paw going. Go on. Keep the face going. Yeah. One more for you, okay? Here you go, buddy. Yeah. Here you are. There's that finger looking good. Is their finger looking good? Yep, their finger looking good, all right. Huh. Yes. Yep. Oh no, they're going away. They're going back in the drawer, kitty. They're going back in the drawer. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, about a furry baby. Just in fantasies for now. There you go. Hey, I got a furry baby right here. He's a furry baby, huh? You're a good furry baby, huh? All right. Solid XK is a fine distro for those looking for Bison's pro-focused and user-friendly. There you go. A phone unfortunately can't do any custom ROMs or even be rooted, so I'm stuck with crappy Android. Yeah, so the moral of the story is when it's getting close to get a new phone, hunt around on the XDA forums and figure out which phones work great with custom ROMs, and then that way you have a direction that you're going to with an old phone. Been here, just had to make a phone call. There you go. Run 2 instances of Mindtest with both Chromium and Firefox open at the same time with no added lag. All right. Joy, I'd love to run that on my desktop, but the graphics on my computer are too old and no longer supported in Linux. I may consider downgrading kernel and trying. It's cold outside. 54 degrees in Florida. Oh, shush it. It's been like 20 degrees and extreme wind here all day. So I don't want to hear about your 54 degrees in Florida. Jeesh. All right, guys. Well, we have reached the bottom of this. So I think we're going to wrap this guy up. Oh, do I want to RF Deepin? I guess we can RF Deepin. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Done a bang-up job. Can deserve a less spotlight. Not too many have heard of them. -6 here the other night. Oh boy. Do it. Die, Deepin OS. Die. Let's see. Click on that. Oh, there's a Deepin terminal. Deepin does have a very nice terminal. I mean, look at this bad boy. Can I do? Can I increase my zoom here? Okay, settings. Ooh, font size. Ooh. Okay, let's just go into sudo I Deepin RM RF no preserve root. I feel like that didn't do anything. I might have totally messed that up. Yeah, apparently I messed something up. It's still booting. It shouldn't be booting. Thought I would have been in the right spot. Oh, duh. I missed the directory. Well, that solves the problem. Helps to actually tell it what directory at RMRF, doesn't it? All right. All right. Oh, I should have done verbose so we can see it die. Oh, it can't remove the swap file. Operation not permitted. there it goes. Haha, die, Deepin, die. Yeah, haha, die. It can't, what? Why can't it not remove a bunch of stuff? Command not found. It's all dead. It doesn't know what to do. There's no settings anymore. There's no command left. We killed it. Burn it with fire. All right. I killed Deepin. That was fun. I was deep into that. Okay, any last words, Deepin? Die, Deepin. Die, Deepin, die. Feel the fire. Fire, 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 fire. Feel the burn, feel the burn. Still like to get to talk to you about doing some web development like a contractor. All right, man. Shoot me an email on one of my contact forms. I'll get back to you. Yeah, I forgot the slash. Yep. It's deep inside, undeletable, still watching you. Uh-oh. All right, guys. We will catch you later. Thanks for hanging out for 1 hour, 11 minutes. We had 76 total view time hours. Average view duration is 21 minutes and 28 seconds. Peak concurrent is 84, and 48 of you stuck around to watch the death of Deepin. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a look at the links in the description down below, and we will chat with you later.